Today on Board Game Coffee Espresso, we're talking Auztralia expansions. Let's do this.
Get back here this instant!
Thank you. Oh, I love you too. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. Thank you.
We're getting 2 new expansions for Australia, and I gotta tell you, I'm pretty excited. And if you're a fan like I am, you should be too. Now, admittedly, I've only recently started playing Australia, and my experience went a little something like this. Got the game on Thursday, played it twice on Friday, and 4 more times on Saturday, with one of those times being a solo play. That's 6 plays in less than 24 hours. So, needless to say, I really liked it. Alright, there's a lot to cover, so let's just jump right in and focus on what's new. First up, Australia, Revenge of the Old Ones. The most notable addition in this expansion is the ability to play as the Old Ones. How cool is that? I mean, it's still everybody for themselves, it's just one of yourselves gets to play as the monsters. This time, instead of laying the Old Ones on the board as part of your setup, the board is littered with spawn points that the Old One player can use to summon all kinds of terrors to terrorize your transient territories. Try saying that 5 times fast. Now that we have a human brain behind the proverbial wheel, we no longer need the Revelations deck to steer the actions of the Old Ones. Instead, the Old One player gets their very own Mythos deck, which they can use to do all kinds of nasty things at the cost of 0, 1, or 2 time points, depending on the card played. They'll also have access to some basic actions, like summoning additional Mythos cards to their hand, placing Old Ones face down on spawn points, revealing those face down Old Ones, and moving them around the board to cause all sorts of havoc for the human players. And each of those actions only costs 1 time point. To counteract this presumably smarter and deadlier Old Ones, the human players are getting stronger ports with a defense value of 4 that can actually defend themselves. And the ability to replace one of the personality cards in the help row with a random card from the top of the deck, which is both handy when fishing for that better card, or to just be a dick and deny that card to other players. Or both. The human players are also getting a new military unit, the Outpost, and a better starting kit with some extra goodies. You see, in the original game, players would start with 2 coal, 2 iron, and 4 gold. That's it. But this time around, players start with 3 coal, 3 iron, and 6 gold. And not only that, you'll also get 2 infantry and 1 personality card right off the hop. What a great way to get a jump start on the action. I mentioned Outposts as a new unit, so let's get back to that. Outposts cost 2 gold and can be purchased as an extra military unit when purchasing any other military unit. Kinda like supersizing your combo. Pick up an airship and add an outpost on that for an extra $2. You'll also have the option to buy them on their own if you so desire. Outposts are used in combat and can also be used to draw the Old Ones away from your farms and ports. But you know what the best part is? When an Old One wanders onto your outpost, you get the option to fight them right away without having to pay the time point cost or any required gold. Combat has never been cheaper. So in a way, they're kind of like giant mousetraps that lure the Old Ones into conflict. And that only works because the Old Ones, although controlled by a player, must still follow the rules of movement and move toward the closest valid target, farm, port, or outpost. The difference is, if there's a tie for closest, the Old One player chooses which path to take. Okay, so far, so cool. Now let's speed this up with a quick rundown of everything else. Ready? Here we go. The Old Ones now start on the same time point space as the human players. The new spawn tiles can be attacked and removed to earn 1 victory point for the human player that attacked it. When your port gets attacked, you get 2 bonus sanity to use for that battle. But if a port ever takes 2 or more damage, its armor is permanently reduced from 4 to 2. If your outpost is attacked, it can't run away, but everyone else can. So this will leave your sandbags behind to defend themselves till the bitter end. Your railways can now be removed by the enemy, potentially disconnecting you from all your stuff and affecting your final score. Scoring for the human players at the end of the game is handled as it was in the original game, with the addition of victory points added for destroying spawn points. But for the old ones, it's quite different. Old One players will score 1 victory point per every infantry, armored car, and outpost they destroy. 2 victory points for every airship, artillery, and train, and 10 points for every port they demolished. In addition, they now gain 3 victory points for every farm they blight, which is quite different from the original's 1 victory point earned by the non-player controlled Old Ones. And they also score victory points equal to the old ones still on the board. But unlike the original, there's no point doubling for face-down Old Ones. And that's it for Revenge of the Old Ones. But that's not all. We got a whole other expansion to cover. Ready? Here we go. Tazmania is a 1 to 2 player expansion for Australia, although you can bump it up to 3 players by stealing some cars from the other expansion and having the 3rd player take on the role of the old ones. Tazmania comes with 2 new boards to play on. Although, while one of those boards is a complete board in the traditional sense, the other one is made up of random tiles that you assemble face down, which will offer up a lot of variety each time you play. There's also more recruitment flexibility, with the ability to refresh as many cards as you want from the help row at the cost of 1 gold. And other than that, Tazmania plays just like the original did, although the new boards really change up the experience and help streamline it for 2 players. But wait, there's more. Tazmania also offers up a solo player campaign, which uses a deck of 10 solo objectives across 10 rounds. For each objective you successfully complete, you'll be rewarded with all kinds of different bonuses, like personality cards, extra materials, even XP. You heard that right? XP, aka experience points. Experience points can be spent at the start and in between rounds to purchase additional military units without the need for gold. Now, that's all fine and dandy if you complete your objective, but if you don't, you die. Actually, that doesn't happen at all. But you do suffer a penalty that will definitely impact the next stage of the campaign. For example, maybe you'll have to return all your personality cards, or be forced to play at the insane level of difficulty, or even start later on the time track, reducing the time you have to do anything before the old ones start waking up and walking around the board. There's a lot of nasty things that can happen, so I strongly recommend not failing. Alright, well, that's it for our coverage of the Auztralia expansions. If either of these sound like something that you'd be interested in, check them out on Kickstarter. I'm a huge fan myself, so I know I will definitely be there. Thanks for joining us. If you like this video and you want to see more, subscribe to our channel. It's the best way to keep up to date with everything we do here at Board Game Coffee. But if you want to see more right now, we got plenty of videos to choose from. And if that's not enough, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Mark Maya, and this is Board Game Coffee. And remember, have fun, keep gaming, be social. See you next week.